He's the angry video game nerd.
Well, it's Christmas time, again, already, and that means more shitty games for me. And I have a pretty big pile here, thanks to all you, all requests, a despicable dozen, and we're gonna savor these juicy turds one day at a time, because this is the 8th Christmas since I first started doing these Christmas specials, so we're gonna do something a little different, a little excessive. 12 days of Shitsmas. Oh no, not this one. Tag and Dragon. As soon as you notice the baby blue colored cartridge, you already know it's bad news. Let's pop this fucker in. Oh, I distinctly remember this. That is one pathetic looking dragon. It looks sort of like a frog-pig hybrid. I don't know. There don't really exist words to describe it. They obviously had a completely different team working on the label because that dragon actually looks pretty rad. This means we've peeled off one layer of this shit heap. Now let's dig in. Ah, it's all coming back to me. As a kid, I rented this game from the video store, which was not common to find games without the Nintendo seal of approval. So how I got the misfortune to play this, I don't know. The goal of the game is very simple. Bite all the tails of the other dragons and then progress to the next round. That's it. You wish these dragons would do something awesome like breathe fire or fly, but no, all they do is chase each other around in circles like a bunch of monkeys. I had no idea it was possible to make dragons so boring. Everything blocks your way. You need extra clearance to get the dragon around the turns. It's like trying to drive a trailer truck through alleyways. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! There's no long-range attack. The only way to bite their tails is to get all up in their ass. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All you do is mash buttons and hope for the best. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, you motherfucker, you motherfucker! Look, look, look. Look, look. Oh my god. Ah! Even when you manage to kill the other dragons, you feel no satisfaction in it because it seems like it was all luck. This is the kind of game you could play with your eyes shut and it wouldn't make any difference. It's just round after round of this mind-rotting, button-mashing madness. 3 deaths and it's back to the beginning. I should mention there's a 2-player co-op mode and a versus mode. Yeah, next time you're thinking about getting some friends together to play some Super Smash Brothers? Nah! Tag and Dragon, man! Even as a rental, I only played this game for a few minutes, and that's rare. When you rented a game back then, you usually make the best of it, whatever it is. Even if the game's bad, you didn't have anything else to do anyway, so you had no choice. But with this game, it was one of those days where you just gotta cut your loss and break out the deck of cards. Well, that was painful, but we're just getting started. Oh no, it's Alf on the Sega Master System. Of course, it's based on the TV sitcom from the 80s. I used to love that show just for the fact that the star character was a puppet. Ah yes, the lovable alien life form Alf, or Gordon Shumway, who crash lands on Earth and lives with the Tanner family, not the Tanners from Full House. The goal is to collect special items to get his spaceship working so he can leave Earth and go home, along the way having to avoid FBI agents who are out to get him. This is all strangely reminiscent of E.T. on Atari 2600. These guys are creepy. They look like pedophiles, perverts, child molesters. The way they're dressed in stereotypical trench coats and grabbing at the air as if saying, "Come on, Alf, I got some candy. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to grope your little alien ass." Get out of my kitchen, you fucking sicko! What kind of town is this where there's a pedophile on every block in broad daylight? Half the population is bike riders who don't know how to pick a lane. You'll never have time to get out of their way. Alf happens to be nearsighted. In other words, the screen doesn't move until you're about a third from the edge, so the best possible chance you'll have to see what's coming up is to do this awkward walk, stop, walk, stop. How? How did I die? I wasn't even on the same plane as him. Did my foot overlap or something? Even the laws of three-dimensional space don't apply. You simply can't be anywhere near this box. The graphics are forgivable, but why is it that every time Alf turns around, he disappears for a brief instant? The game can't keep up. It's like, oh, wait, you're turning around? Okay, wait, hold on. Okay. You want to know what I think of the sound effects? I can't tell you that. You know why? There are no fucking sound effects! Even Atari 2600 had sound effects. Here, all you get is this rotten music. Get used to that. Somehow there happens to be a big hole in the wall in the Tanner's basement, and it leads to a cave full of bats. Geez, Tanners, you think you might want to do something about that hole? You can't miss it. It's right at the bottom of the steps. Why would that be there? Needless to say, you have no energy bar. One-hit deaths. So try getting past these bats. Just fucking try. Just fucking try it. Ducking hardly helps at all. He isn't much lower. Isn't the whole point of ducking to get down low? Instead, Alf does this awkward half squat. Looks like he's getting ready to dump ass. Yeah, I just hit number 2. The one-hit deaths is the main fatal flaw here. You could be halfway through the cave and then all of a sudden something slightly touches you and then it's all the way back to the beginning. There's a total of 5 lives. 1 continue, another 5 lives, and then it's all over. No more continues, no more saves, no passwords, no nothing. It's like good fucking luck, asshole. If you can progress any further in this game, you have more patience than me. Do you wish to continue playing? I love how the first choice is no. They knew nobody would ever play this piece of shit more than once. The only replay value I can think of is to do this. Yeah, hey, pervert. Hey, you want this, pervert, right? You dirty old man. You fucking sicko. Willie, ha! Crazy Bus. This isn't even a real game. From what I've heard, it was some kind of demo that somebody made as a test in Venezuela in 2004, and for whatever reason it was made to run on a Sega Genesis many years after the cartridge days of gaming. It's a strange anomaly that deserves further examination. So let's take a look at Crazy Bus and see what's so crazy about it. How did this game come into existence? It isn't even a game. I mean, it's the only interactivity is moving the bus and honking the horn. It's as less of a video game as possible. Tiger handheld electronic games were more in-depth than this. There's no goal other than to see how high you can rack up the score. In other words, how long can you hold the D-pad for? You like that game? Well, you don't even need the game, just a controller and a timer. It'd be more fun to stare at a wall. I have a whole new appreciation for Desert Bus. Big Rigs is more exciting than this shit. This broke the shit scale. This is a whole new higher level. First there's poop, then there's shit, and then there's defecation. Who found this gem and put it on a Sega Genesis cartridge with a case? They're shit diggers. They dig for shit. It's like finding somebody's garbage and then packaging it up for the world to see. I guess there might be somebody out there who might enjoy this game. Somebody who happens to be very interested in Venezuelan buses. Yeah, if there is any game for the Venezuelan bus enthusiast, this is it. Do you find any Venezuelan buses in Super Mario World? No. So you can't argue. This is the definitive Venezuelan bus game. I mean, come on, right? You get these great photos of the buses and you get to look at the photos and drive the bus at the same time. You can even go backwards. You can honk the horn. What more could you want? When the digits are the same color as the background, that gives you an added challenge of trying to read the timer. Crazy bus, man. Don't forget it. Say it. One word, not crazy bus. It's crazy bus. And it's fucking crazy. Whoa, we're driving a bus here. It's fucking crazy. Oh my God, I can't take it. It's so fucking crazy. Crazy bus. Crazy bus. Crazy bus. Whoa. The driver fell asleep on the wheel. Oh, and that soundtrack. Oh, gotta get that soundtrack. Gotta crank it up in your car. Yeah! Fuck me sideways. That fucking soundtrack. Fucking A. Ugh! Ren and Stimpy Fire Dogs. Okay, making a Ren and Stimpy game that's worthy of the TV show is a tall order. The show was like Looney Tunes on crack. It was like they took the Three Stooges but just Moe and Larry, made Larry a cat and made Moe a psychopathic chihuahua and gave him a voice like Peter Lorre's specifically from his rant at the end of the Maltese Falcon. It was ingenious. The show was so crazy that when it was on in the 90s, I didn't even know what to make of it. Do the games hold up? That's a whole other story. There were 4 of them on the Super NES: Time Warp, Veediots, Buckaroos, and Fire Dogs. These games actually made a good attempt at capturing the random humor from the show, and the graphics and animation are spot on. You take Ren, for example, who on the show is a flexible character of 1,000 facial expressions and body shapes. They could have taken him in any direction and gone off in a completely different tangent, but the looks they gave him are just like the looks you see on him in the show. Unfortunately, every one of these games is plagued with flaws that ruin the experience, whether it be a fence that won't cooperate, or taking 1,000,000 slaps to defeat a dog. Slapping the dog, slapping the dog. The Fire Dogs game is loosely based on a specific episode of the show. Here in the game, you take control of Stimpy and have to collect firefighting equipment and bring it all back to the fire engine. You know, all the ordinary firefighting equipment like a helmet, boots, hose, a beaver, you know. Ren sits it out and does nothing to help. Again, the humor is spot on. So you have to run around the place, sliding up fire poles. Yes, sliding up fire poles. The firefighters apparently don't want any of your help at all. If you run into these guys, it's over. They pound you. One hit, and you have to start all over again. You can pick up fire extinguishers, and if one of these guys is in your way or you get trapped in a corner, you can give them a squirt to stun them. but it doesn't last long at all. It only gives you one brief moment to get past them. Come on! Spray the firefighter with the fire extinguisher. Come on! Come on! Oh, come on. Wrong way! Ah, come on! The only practical way to get around the firefighters is to find Dalmatian paint, which actually follows the show. In the episode, Ren and Stimpy are looking for food and shelter, so they apply to be fire dogs so they could stay in the fire department. But the fire department only takes Dalmatians, so they have to disguise themselves in Dalmatian paint. The fire extinguishers and paint cans are always in different places every time you restart the game, so you have to get lucky. And if you walk under the water sprinklers, it washes the paint off. The items that you need to collect to bring back to the fire engine are all in fixed locations, but even if you get good at it and know where all of them are, there's nothing you can do about the time limit. This is the fatal flaw. It gives you barely enough time, even if you're running all the way. It's only the first stage, but it's going to take lots of trial and error and a lot of luck. You have to do it all in one session too. Once the timer runs out, everything starts over. You'd think there'd be an item that gives you some time back, but I've never found any such thing. Waiting for the water sprinklers always slows you down, and for some reason I'm having lots of trouble with the stairs. But get down the stairs! Down the stairs! Come on! And when you get back to the fire engine, you have to stand in a specific spot for each item and select them one at a time. Why does everything have to be so tedious? You only get 2 minutes and 14 seconds to do everything. Then you have to find Ren and collect kitty litter while the timer is still ticking down. But thankfully, this part is just a bonus. Then you go to the next stage where Ren and Stimpy are using a life net to save people from the burning buildings. But wait, it's not people, it's just a bunch of clocks, sandwagons, books, sculpture busts, TVs, chickens, and bricks. What the fuck's going on up there? Who's dropping this shit? Where'd they get so many? Anyway, this goes on for 4 minutes, 50 seconds, and then the game ends. What, I didn't save enough bricks and clocks? I didn't miss that many, so I'm assuming you have to have a 100% accuracy. I don't know. The game's shit. In the words of Mr. Horse, no sir, I don't like it. Rocky and Bullwinkle on NES, based on the cartoon about a moose and a squirrel. Do I have to see everything? So here's the game. It starts up with one of the most god-awful music loops you'll ever hear come out of your NES. No, really, listen to how short this loop is. All I can say is, I'm a moose throwing bombs. Eat this, bitch! You don't want to fuck with a moose throwing bombs! Unfortunately, the bombs run out, so all you're left with is this charging attack. But the attack drains your own power meter. You can't hurt anything without hurting yourself. What kind of crap is that? So I wasted all this time trying to kill this guy until I realized you can just hop over him. Yeah, you just go past him. Thanks for wasting my time. Next, you come to a room full of stairs. It's a small room, which seems to be a dead end. Where do I go? Down here? Nope. Maybe I should try that random stairway that looks like it goes nowhere. Oh, come on! All the other stairways go up till they're off screen. Why does this first stairway happen to be so special that it stops in midair and magically transports you to the next screen? It was a stairway to nothing that somehow happened to be a stairway to something. I hate these mice. I hate them. They're too fast to hit with your bombs. Ugh, come on, it's just a mouse. How does a little tiny mouse beat the shit out of a big fucking moose? Bullwinkle is so big and awkward. Everywhere you go, you get hit constantly. Even if something touches your antlers, it takes damage. The hit detection box is a big rectangle. Even if you try taking it slow, you can't squeeze through these obstacles. It's like trying to drive a tank through a grocery store aisle. You can switch to Rocky, who is much smaller. This makes things a lot easier, except that Rocky can't walk up steps. If only it was Rocky Balboa, he'd go up the damn steps! Why would that be a special ability? Think of all the video game characters that have special moves. You know, Princess Toadstool can float, Grant can climb walls, Dixie Kong can spin her hair, Bullwinkle can go upstairs. Rocky can fly, which you'll need to do in order to reach over some of these wide gaps, but there's no clear indication of what you can land on and what you can't. I tried putting in a code for a level warp just so I can give you a quick peek ahead, but it makes the game glitch. This is the kind of glitching you would see if you were doing something with Game Genie, but this is just a normal code that comes with the real game. What happened? Look at the graphics here. Looks like King Kong splashed his ass all over the place. And just when you thought the music couldn't get any worse. Oh my god, I didn't even know the NES was capable of producing such an ear-piercing sound! That's awful! Oh, well there you have it. Rocky and Bullwinkle, shitty game, shitty graphics, shitty music, shitty everything. Fucking big clumsy moose. Bullwinkle, oh, Bullwinkle! More like bull fucking shit! I knew this would have to happen one of these days. I would eventually have to play one of the games based on the Olsen twins, Mary Kate and Ashley. That's right, I said one of the games. There's several. But yeah, I knew this would have to happen ever since I was playing Toxic Crusaders right here with Lloyd Kaufman.
This is a historic, this is the first use in a video game of a golden shower until the Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen twins video games.
I have not played those. Maybe I'll have to try them now. So here we are. I'll play one of these games, and the one I have here is called Get a Clue on Game Boy Color, based on the direct-to-video series The Adventures of Mary Kate and Ashley, which was some sort of musical mystery show.
The New Adventures of Mary Kate and Ashley. Get a Clue for Game Boy Color.
Oh, it talks! It's the first time I've ever heard the Olsen twins talk to me through a video game, and they're just telling me what I'm playing. The game just started, and I threw a dog off a balcony. I threw a dog off a balcony! The goal of the game is to solve some kind of crime case, so you have to find pieces of the puzzle. Literally, a puzzle. I thought it'd be some kind of clue, evidence, you know, but it's literally a puzzle. Yeah, I gotta find out what's on that puzzle. I bet it's a flower. No, I bet it's a cat. Yeah, it's a cat. To get anywhere in this game, you have to activate switches to unlock the gate that leads to the puzzle piece. Oh, but wait, only Ashley can activate the switches. Which one's Ashley? Throughout the game, you tag team back and forth between both twins, kind of like the production of Full House when they both played Michelle. At such a young age, they were able to successfully trick us into making it seem like it was the same person. But there are some Full House experts out there who can tell when it's Ashley and when it's Mary Kate. Well, good. Try figuring it out in this fucking game! You'll move one of the twins over to a switch and then realize, oh shit, that's Mary Kate. Gotta select Ashley, because for some reason only she knows how to flick switches and bounce off her sister's head. What does that mean? Mary Kate has a bouncier head or something? Mary Kate can jump higher than Ashley though, so that's probably the quickest way to tell the difference between them. Now I'm actually curious, can she really jump higher in real life? That should be put to the test, because the world needs to know. Believe it or not, the dog is a selectable character too. Sometimes you might need to move the dog into position and use him as a boost, or use him as a weapon against your enemies by throwing him. Imagine if you picked up your dog and then threw it at an attacking animal. A and B is reversed, gotta have that. And the game gives you hints along the way on how to pass the level. Very specific hints. In fact, it tells you exactly what to do. The game provides its own walkthrough. The puzzle-solving gameplay begins simple and then gets more tricky. The difficulty ramps up perfectly without going from too easy to too hard too quickly. Sometimes you have to stack up the characters to reach a certain jump, and some of the switches are timed, so you might have to get Mary-Kate to head to the gate and then activate the switch with Ashley in a completely different part of the room. You know, honestly, I have to admit, this is my first time playing, and surprisingly, it's not that bad. But who is the target audience? Little girls or puzzle-solving fanatics? Who knows? VIP, starring Pamela Anderson. Her name is very familiar to anyone having been a teenage boy in the 90s. I don't think a single day went by on the school bus without hearing Pamela Anderson, Pamela Anderson, Pamela Anderson. After all, she was in such great movies like Barbed Wire and Naked Souls. She was best known for the TV show Baywatch, and after that there was VIP, which I know nothing about, but let's check out the game. The story begins with a doctor calling a team of bodyguards for help, known as VIP.
VIP, good morning. What can we do for you?
This is Dr. Kindle speaking. It's urgent I call you. For an emergency.
What's happened exactly, Doctor?
There are men with guns crawling all over my estate.
What kind of company is this? And why would you call them? Why don't you just call 911? They don't even look like an emergency response team. They're dressed like they're getting ready for a photo shoot for a magazine cover. It doesn't make any sense. Pamela has never looked so creepy. Obviously, this is the original PlayStation, so the graphics are acceptable for their time, but I can never get over this synthetic human look, trying to look like real life, but appearing as lifeless as ever. Then the game begins as you go to the doctor's estate, still dressed in your skimpy outfits, and beat up all the thugs who are trying to break into his home, or whatever the hell is supposed to be happening. They don't even explain it yet, but they suspect the doctor is playing some kind of trick. Who cares? Let me tell you about the game. I use the term game very loosely because it isn't really much of a game at all. You just copy the on-screen button combinations. If you enter it correctly, Pamela will automatically perform an attack combo. After she's taken out a group of thugs, she will automatically move to the next screen. It's like the game is playing itself. You're just passively watching the action take place in what appears to be a fighting game, but is actually more like a hyped up version of Simon Says. You don't even need the game to play this. Just get out your PlayStation controllers and you can play along with me. Down circle. Up triangle. Right square. You enjoy that? Well, you're playing VIP. And that's all there is to it. It goes on and on and on. Of course, I have to mention, she's hitting people with her purse. Nah, she's a girl. Give her a purse. Then all of a sudden, things change up. You take control of her partner, or I mean, as much control as the game allows. Here you're moving the crosshairs of the gun around. That's right, she's using a gun. Then why does the Pamela character use a purse? On the cover, she has a gun, but the manual says she hates guns. Go figure that out. What can be said about the gun portion of the game? Not much. Have you ever played an arcade shooter style like this? It's the same thing. Just move the crosshairs to the target, shoot, repeat, reload every now and then, repeat, repeat. What is she wearing anyway? If she's going out to battle and this kind of thing is her normal job, shouldn't she be wearing some kind of body armor? Instead, she's wearing as little as she can possibly get away with. This is a scumbag's idea of a game. Let's get some slutty girls and give them guns. Every now and then you find diamonds for points, and they always seem to fly up her ass. You can cash the points in to watch more cutscenes. even if it's the same cutscenes you've already seen, without points. Or you can see these still shots. What the hell is the point of this? Anyway, I have to comment on the high energy music that seems like it's trying to get you all hyped up for nothing. It sounds sort of like a Sega Genesis synth guitar that's being choked. Like somebody's trying to rock out through a walkie-talkie that's been shoved up a hippopotamus's butt right before a muck spreads. But still, you gotta give it credit. It's trying its best, just blasting out through the farts of the hippo's ass, cranking out that high-octane, pulse-pounding, hard-rocking music. And in the end, all I'm doing is just pressing buttons. Down right square. Left square X. Right square X. Lethal Weapon was one of the prime examples of 80s action movies, with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover at their best, playing two undercover cops with polar opposite personalities. It's the buddy cop cliché, but one of the greatest of the genre. Well, somehow it managed to escape an ass raping by LJN. The game was made by Ocean, so can we just take a moment here and be thankful? It's not LJN? So that means it's going to be good, right? Okay, let's give it a try. Well, it's average as a sidewalk on a summer day. It's nothing to look at. This is it. You want to review the game? Here you go. You just walk around and take out bad guys by kicking and shooting. That's it. Nothing terrible, nothing great, just a middle-of-the-road, everyday, button-mashing marathon. Considering the Super NES was out by this time, makes it as worthwhile as yesterday's baby diapers. The graphics are okay by NES standards, but the backgrounds don't make any sense. I thought we were in the jungle, now we're in the desert in Egypt? That is a pyramid, is it not? Oh wait, I guess there's supposed to be mountains. Yeah, one of the mountains just happens to be in a perfect pyramid shape, that's all. The really strange thing is how the two different environments have such a distinct line of separation, as if we just switched from one plane of existence to the next. There's no logic anyway. You know, logic is for pussies. Kicking people takes the same amount of damage as shooting them. That's right, your foot is as strong as a bullet. After all, you take out helicopters by jumping and kicking them out of the air. Who does that? That's not believable, unless you're a giant turtle trained in the art of ninjutsu named after a Renaissance painter. I also like that you can pick up grenades after they've already been thrown. That's right, an active grenade that's ready to blow. Just pick it up and you'll be fine. You're playing as the Mel Gibson character, Riggs, and I have to say, in the spirit of Lethal Weapon 3, I'm disappointed that the power-ups aren't dog biscuits. But what about the Danny Glover character, Murtaugh? How do you play as him? I've tried the obvious select, but that pauses the game. Start switches your weapon, B attacks, A jumps. So, we're out of buttons here. What do we do? There has to be a way to play Murtaugh. It wouldn't be Lethal Weapon without both of them, so what do you do? No! That didn't happen! Oh my god. To switch characters, you walk off screen. That's different. You know what? I've seen it all. I've seen it all at this point. So, does that mean the other character is always there, following along, but staying far enough behind so that he can hide in the unseen negative space outside the boundaries of your TV screen? What is he doing out there? Just hanging out, watching you get your ass kicked? Both characters seem to operate the same, pretty much, so there's no difference other than the color of your skin. Well, that's deep. Almost sounds like the game's trying to make a moral statement. No, the game sucks. Let me give you some advice. Never play a movie-based game. You know why? Okay. They fuck you at the movie games, okay? They fuck you. They know you're gonna buy the game, and by the time you play the game and realize you got fucked, it's too late. They don't care, and after they get done fucking you, they fuck you some more. Who got fucked? The ones who bought the game. The ones who rented it were the lucky ones. They fuck you with the graphics, fuck you with the music, fuck you with the gameplay. They fuck you. Walk off screen to select the characters. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. That'd be like if I just walked off screen right now and somebody else came in. I'm getting too old for this shit. This is Porky's on Atari 2600, based on the comedy film from the early 80s. It was one of the early examples of naughty comedies geared towards adults, and belongs in the same family of movies like Animal House and Caddyshack. Although not as classic and memorable as those, it has its place, and all of today's dumb comedies owe themselves to it. And likewise, all today's weird, twisted, fucked up, shitty-ass video games owe themselves to this. You wanna play shit? This is your grandfather's shit. What happened? Only on Atari. It's never a good sign when you don't know how to play the game. I've fallen into a trap. The walls are dead ends and the water is pure death. To get out of this predicament, you have to use this pole to fling yourself up onto the platforms. But that's not all. You need to collect these blinking things to build the ladders. Fuck! Fuck! Get up there! For a game console that has only one button, the controls are very specific. While holding the button down, you run into the pole and then quickly release the button and tap it. If that tap is off in the slightest, you'll just swing to the other side of the pond. But if you do it at the exact microsecond, it will fling you up onto the platform. Alright, now let's build the ladder. It only adds one link at a time. So you have to wait for another blinky thing to appear and keep repeating the whole process until the ladders are finished. There's no way around it. You have to master this pole. This isn't even the goal of the game. This is just to get out of the trap. Now up the ladder, and there's a girl taking a shower. There is a scene in the movie where the guys are spying on the locker room shower, but I did not expect them to include this scene in the game. Why is she showering in a room full of ladders anyway? The shower itself is suspended in midair. As soon as she's in your field of sight, she disappears and a ghostly figure starts chasing you. Get away! I'm sorry, I'm not a sleazy sexual predator, I'm just a guy trying to escape the pond that's underneath your shower room. These are some of the most awkward ladders in video game history. In most games, you go in front of the ladder, but here you have to be on the side, and if you're not in the pixel-perfect spot, it doesn't work. So this strange woman is chasing you everywhere. She glides through the air with such power that it causes the game to glitch, as if sending a ripple through space and time. What do I do with this thing? I tried dropping it on her head, doesn't work. Tried going up, doesn't work. I tried going down. Really doesn't work. And if she catches you, it's back to the pond. Believe it or not, this whole predicament in the locker room closely follows the movie. The woman who's after you is the coach, Miss Ballbricker, who finds one of the boys putting his dick through a peephole in the shower. You'd think a scene like this would get ignored in a video game, but this is Atari, and sure enough, the manual says she's out to grab onto anything she can, so don't let her latch onto you. Yeah. The character you're playing as is Pee-wee, not Pee-wee Herman, but Pee-wee from Porky's, which doesn't make sense anyway because Pee-wee's not the character who gets his dick grabbed. Not Pee-wee Herman, he can grab his own dick, but what are we talking about here? I'll cut the shit. Here's what you do. Drop the items down the hole, the arrow appears, you go up the ladder to street level where you play some sort of game of Frogger on acid. What the hell are these things? If you get hit by anything, it's, you guessed it, back to the pond. If you make it across the street, it's another round of Shower Girl Defender Ms. Ballbreaker. Each time it's a new item, but the process is exactly the same. All these items are part of a master plan to blow up Porky's bar. I didn't think it had a rhyme or a reason, but it does. It just so happens you have to trek through a woman's locker room, that's all. After you've gotten all the items, you progress to the worst part, the mother of all nightmares. Here you have to climb up the scaffolding while avoiding Porky. Yeah, now we have Porky too. Not Porky the pig, but Porky from Porky's. The scaffolding can only be climbed in certain places. It's basically like an invisible maze. One wrong move and you could fall all the way down where Porky will most certainly get you almost every time. When you make it back to try again, the maze reroutes itself, so it's always different. But as your reward, when you make it to the top, you get to blow up the bar. What an experience Pee-wee had. Can you imagine the story he has to tell? I was walking down the street, narrowly avoiding a speedboat, a submarine on wheels, a parade of naked Dr. Seuss characters, rabid pigs, dudes, and cars. I fell down into a pond where I swung around on a pole and built a ladder up into a girl's locker room shower where this weird blobby ghost tried to grab my dick. I dropped a bunch of pyro equipment down the same hole that leads to the pond, but somehow ended up on top of a bunch of scaffolding where I went up and finished it all off with a boom! And that's why you gotta love Atari. Looks like we're in for a treat today. The Hyperscan by Mattel, the same company that made the Intellivision and the Power Glove. They also made every toy from He-Man to Barbie. LJN made toys. Let's see how this piece of shit holds up. It was released in 2006. It's hard to believe a specimen like this would exist at a time when Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii were the current gaming consoles. Nobody ever talked about this one. Let's find out why. The instructions are blinking. That's annoying. Player 1, scan your character card. You have to scan cards to make the game go? Having a disc isn't enough? How about a character select screen? That would have been fine. Scan. Scan, you bastard. Scan a mod card now? What's with all these cards? Just start the fucking game. God damn. The cards were sold separately, so the idea was to combine card collecting with video gaming. Yeah, how about fucking Pogs, too? The fact that you always need to be scanning cards means you have to keep the game console on your lap, calling back to the Atari 2600 days where all the switches were on the console. It's still loading. Hyperscan. Yeah, it's really hyper. After a long load process that's only rivaled by the Commodore 64, the game finally starts. Well, it's a fighting game, a very average one. Average for the early 90s, but this is much later. At least you can say it's better than Shaq Fu. End it. I guess you're supposed to do some kind of finishing move. If only I had the card. I guess finish him is already taken, so let's call it end it. Then you wait through another load screen just to see the character stats. Then it's another load screen just to select the character. And then yet another load screen before the next fight starts.
Are you a fan of heavy metal?
3 fucking load screens between matches. Next up, let's try Marvel Heroes. You can already tell that the Hyperscan was all about Marvel. Here you can apparently take control of Avenger characters as well as X-Men, depending on which cards you own. It's a standard side-scrolling action game. The graphics and sound are fair enough, but the control is kinda slippery, like you're running on grease. The attacking is delayed and the hit detection is terrible. Ah! Come on! Hit him! Hit him! I also find it hilarious that if you hang on to the side of a building, everybody jumps at you like dogs after a cat in a tree. There were much better games of this variety on Sega Genesis. Nothing to see here, folks. Then there's Interstellar Wrestling League. It's strangely quieter than the other games. I've never encountered that issue before, where the games have inconsistent volume. Even the scanning is inconsistent. This time it seems like I have to hold the card in place instead of swiping it.
Round 1, wrestle! Oh, my face!
Here we have a humorous fighting game with controls way more awkward than X-Men. It sort of reminds me of Clay Fighter with its comedic elements, but instead of being charming, it comes off as just plain weird.
I like pie. I like to have pie every day.
Besides, why are they calling it wrestling when they're not even wrestling? And yes, he just turned into a cheeseburger. At last, we have Ben 10, based on the TV series. It's another side-scroller. You take control of Ben, and using the different cards, you can transform into different alien creatures. By the way, what's that, a Nintendo Wii? I like the concept. The graphics and character animations are great. This game could have been good. Almost awesome, but half the time you're not even playing the game. You're just wading through text boxes. Use the jump button to jump over the rock? This game treats you like an idiot. You can't do anything. Every step you take, the game pauses and another text box comes up. It's like Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, but multiplied 1,000 times. It's like they took the most annoying part of one game and made it the whole game 20 years later. This game is so recent, it came out after I already critiqued Simon's Quest. Couldn't anybody learn? I was already 11 episodes in by the time this shit hit the market in October 2006. The text boxes can freeze you in mid-air as you're trying to jump over a hole. When it unfreezes, you lose your momentum and fall to your death. I'm trying to jump! Leave me alone! Let me play the game! I can't read it anyway because they somehow put the text on the background layer. How did somebody let this get so fucked up? These text boxes are your worst enemy and unholiest of gaming nightmares. Fuck! You know, I played almost the entire library for it. There's also a Spider-Man game that I don't own, but that's 5 games. They made 5 games total for this piece of garbage. That's less games than the Virtual Boy. Well, at least it's not as bad as the R-Zone. Hyperscan. Hyper fucking shit. Universal Theme Park Adventure on GameCube, a game based on a theme park that was based on movies by Universal Studios, the giant movie-making machine that made some of the greatest films of all time, from the classic monster movies of the 30s and 40s to the Spielberg masterpieces like Jaws, E.T., and Jurassic Park. Over the years, Universal has celebrated its movie legacy by slowly converting its Hollywood studio location into a big amusement park for the public and destroying film history. You know the Opera House set from the classic Phantom of the Opera that stood on stage 28 for 90 years? Destroyed. The oldest surviving movie set in history, gone overnight to make way for a Harry Potter ride. But, hey, Universal Theme Park was still a lot of fun. You know, in the Back to the Future DeLorean, and then there's volcanoes and shit, and then you're riding the bike with E.T., and then the truck comes and almost hits you, and then you're on the waterfall, and then the T-Rex comes out, and then fucking Jaws is jumping out of the water, and King Kong shaking the tram, and then there's the earthquakes, and then those other movies that you don't even know what the fuck they are, nobody cares. It was awesome. By the 90s, this whole theme park idea was so huge, they opened up a new one in Florida. This is when Nintendo helped advertise it in the movie The Wizard, and then in 2001, Nintendo started promoting it again with this game, which I think sounds awesome. What a great idea to take all these movies and put them into one using the theme park as a way to tie them all together, and on a new advanced console. How could you go wrong? The fuck is this shit? You're a kid running around the park. While the graphics are fine and definitely seem to represent the basic idea of what a Universal theme park looks like, the camera angles are a problem. First of all, it never moves. You know how in most other three-dimensional games like Super Mario 64, which came out years before, the camera follows the character around? Here, the camera is in a fixed position and only switches to another angle when you reach a certain point on the screen. So you might have to run far into the distant background or all the way up into the foreground without even knowing what's ahead of you. So finding your way around is a total nightmare. Sometimes when you come to a new screen, you start out in the background. You're just a tiny dot somewhere on the screen, obscured by a crowd of people. Where am I? Oh, there I am. It's like a game of Where's Waldo. Now let's get on some rides. What's this? There's a line? Yes, at theme parks you have to wait in lines, but why'd they include that in the game? Could they have left that out? But this is even worse than real life because Woody Woodpecker won't even let you get in the line, even though there's less than 10 people. Could you imagine going to Universal and the lines are that short? That would be your lucky day. That would be like a 2-minute wait. But no, Woody's gotta send you away. Like, go away, asshole. Fuck you, you Woody Bunny fucking Pecker piece of shit. You know what you have to do to get in the line? You would never believe this. You have to pick up trash and put them in trash cans. Has anyone ever had to pick up trash at Universal to get on the rides? What kind of idiotic idea is this? First of all, finding the trash is a hassle because of the fixed camera positions. The trash might be as small as a tiny speck on the ground. Then finding the trash cans you'd think would be easy, but they're rare to come by. If a real Universal theme park had as few trash cans as in this game, then they actually would have this much garbage lying around. The worst thing of all, whenever you pick up a piece of trash, it's only 10 points. But to get on a single ride, you might need more than 2,000 points. So you're gonna have to pick up a lot of trash. I want to see Jaws, Jurassic Park. You have access to all these major franchises, but instead they just send the gamer around collecting trash? What were they thinking? They should have called the game Universal Theme Park Janitor. Yeah, great idea. Right up there with Super Plumber Mario Toilet Cleaner. This kid isn't even an employee of the park. Why would he have to pick up all this trash? Poor kid. Imagine all the stuff he has to handle. Fries that have been stepped in, wrappers that are covered in ants, paper bags that are filled with vomited cotton candy. Ugh. Maybe he didn't buy a ticket or something. Maybe the park has a special deal with him like, okay kid, we'll let you on the rides for free, but you gotta help us clean up all this trash. You can also get points from shaking hands with costumed characters like Creature from the Black Lagoon and E.T. Dude, I fucking shook hands with E.T. I mean, come on. So you get all this trash, throw them in the trash can, get enough points, and then guess what? You still can't get on the rides because you have to cash the points in at the store and buy a fucking hat. Remember that time you went to Universal? They wouldn't let you on the rides unless you wear a stupid fucking hat. And each ride has its own special hat. How do all those other people get in the line? I don't see them wearing hats. At last, let's talk about the rides. They're just little mini games that end quicker than an actual Universal ride. Back to the Future, you're just flying around in a DeLorean through prehistoric times trying to stop Biff, who's also in a DeLorean. Jaws, you're on a boat trying to throw things at the shark. Surprisingly, the camera actually moves, but you still have no control over it. It takes forever to aim, and the shark moves way faster than you, so chances of hitting it are slim. You have as much luck trying to time jerking off onto a passing car. Believe it or not, this game actually makes the NES version of Jaws seem excellent. Jurassic Park, this is just a simple rail shooter. Move the crosshairs and shoot the dinosaurs. This may have worked as an arcade game that you drop a few quarters in, not something you'd sit and play at home. Like an arcade game, it's over just as fast, although much more expensive than 75 cents. E.T., yes, the dreaded E.T., made almost 20 years after the so-called worst game of all time on the Atari 2600. But would you believe, I shit you not, this version is far worse. The control is so bad, all you do is fall, fall, and fall. I can't figure out these controls, it makes me look like an idiot, but I swear, I'm really trying. Imagine playing Excitebike blindfolded, with the controller upside down coated in rubber cement while seated on a wild bull. And just when you start to get the hang of it, the game ends. Waterworld. Gotta include Waterworld whenever you're talking about great Universal classics. This one isn't even a game at all. It's just a virtual recreation of the Waterworld stunt show attraction at Universal Hollywood, which is a great stunt show, far better than the actual movie. So, for those of you who didn't get to see it live, here you can witness the finale when they crash the plane into the water, splashing the front rows to an ecstatic, screaming crowd of nobody. Must be a slow day at Universal. Then there's Backdraft, which is surprisingly the longest of all the games and probably the best, or should I say the least worst. I feel bad for this young kid who has to put out fires without even wearing any protective gear. As always, you have no control over the camera and may not even see a fire until you run smack into it. The fatal flaw that destroys this almost playable game is the confusing controls. Every time you step into another room or the camera angle changes, the joystick becomes reversed, so you have to reorient yourself and figure out the controls again. It's a mess. And if it seems like I breezed through these really quickly, that's because they're over real quickly. There's nothing more to say. That's all, folks. They're mini-games, sub-games, an afterthought to the main game, which is just going around collecting garbage. A metaphor of my life. You'd think they would have made the rides the main part of the game, but instead they focused on the whole mission of trying to get on the rides. Which is very accurate to how the park is in real life. You ever been to Universal? All you do is stand in lines all day, and every once in a while you get on the ride. So this captures that experience perfectly. A virtual simulation of a day at Universal, with long hours of tedium with short bursts of excitement. Except if you're collecting trash the whole time. I should also mention that the main goal of the entire game is to collect stamps. Yeah, apparently there's a big stamp collecting contest going on at Universal, so every time you finish one of the rides, they give you a stamp. So shooting at dinosaurs, flying around a DeLorean, throwing barrels at sharks, all that is just about winning a stamp collecting contest. If I went on a ride at Universal and they gave me a stamp, I'd be like, what the hell is this? I'll tell you, that's one time at Universal when you'd see me throw something in the trash can, or better yet, I used a stamp on an envelope that I'd send a letter to the game developers asking them, how the fuck did you take so many popular franchises and fuck them up so bad? Even LJN, when they fucked up Jaws and Back to the Future, it was one at a time. Not all at once, and that was NES. This is GameCube. I thought by now games this horrible would be extinct. I didn't even know it was possible to make something so rancid. I guess we'll just leave it at, it was a poor excuse of a game, just a shitty exploitation to promote the theme park. But it even fails at that. It's the worst promotion of all time. Have you ever seen the Universal theme park TV commercials? They were never like, visit Universal Studios theme park, experience the thrill, ride the movies, pick up fucking trash. The only theme park on earth where you get to clean up after everybody else. Nothing gets you closer to the movies than wearing funny hats and collecting stamps. Book your trip now. But seriously, the park's dirty. We need someone to clean it. Well, only one more present left. You want to take a peek? Yeah, let's take a peek.
It can't be. LJN made a video game console. It's bad enough they already monopolized the genre of shitty, dysfunctional video games, but now they make a whole fucking console. The biggest turd LJN ever shat. Let's take a look. Hours of creative fun, oh, I'm sure. Do I really have to play this thing? I'd rather analyze the styrofoam that came with it. It's far more exciting. See that right there? Maybe somebody's cat stepped on it. See all the scuff marks? I wonder what that's all from. It's like an archaeological record. It's like styrofoam keeps a fingerprint of the past. It's interesting. Okay, let's cut the shit. Let's hook this thing up. Oh no, oh no, oh no! Oh, I hate these. These things come from hell. These are the devil's pitchforks that you have to screw on the back of your TV. The box says it's for ages 5 and up. Adult guidance needed for hookup. I think we're going to need more like spiritual guidance. So we plug this fucker in and here we go. Well, you have to admit, sure has a killer soundtrack. Yeah, next time you're having a conversation about best video game soundtracks, Mega Man, Castlevania, no, tell them about LJN video art. I can see it right now like, how does that one go? I don't remember that. Oh, it goes like... The game has no sound. This is a unique specimen, not because it doesn't have sound, but because it outputs white noise. So technically it does have sound, but it's fucking static. This kind of shit is the reason the mute button was invented. Yeah, so turn the sound off, put on some Witchfinder General, and while you're at it, put on a different fucking game! If you turn on the console without a game cartridge in it, you get a blank screen that you can doodle on. The console comes packaged with one cartridge. If you put that in, you get a bunch of pre-done drawings that you can mess with. The joystick moves the cursor about. To draw, or should I say to scribble around like a blind Golden Lion Tamarin on speed, you hold down the button. This presses the pen down, so to say. The joystick is already overly sensitive. One slight move and your cursor flies all over the place. Having to press down on the joystick at the same time as you're trying to move it only adds to the frustration. Why could there be a separate button, like Atari 2600? There are 2 other buttons on the controller, but they're for locking the verticals and horizontals so you can draw a straight line. Maybe we can get some lasers coming out of the parrot's eyes. Yeah, that's my best. The diagonals are the biggest problem. I just want to see if I can draw a circle. Ah! Oh, man. Fuck! That's it. With my best practice, that's the best circle I can possibly draw. I can draw rounder shapes on an Etch-a-Sketch. That's my best spiral. That's my best person. I'm not joking around. The controls are so bad, that's the best I can do. Look at the family on the box. What could they possibly be so overjoyed about? Look, look, Mom, yay, I drew a fucking line! Ugh. Can you even tell what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to give the panda a bottle of beer. I can't even make a visual joke here. This game gives me nothing to work with. Let's try to color in the nose. I can't even land the cursor inside the nose. And when you're pressing down and rocking the joystick around like this, it squeaks. Oh, that's awful. This is worse than the static, and this you can't turn down. So, guess you gotta get some really strong earmuffs. And just to add insult to injury, on the box, the panda is colored in perfectly. How can you market it as a coloring program when there isn't even a way to color anything in? Ugh. Should there be a paint bucket tool? That's the most basic thing. Why is there no paint bucket tool? Even Color a Dinosaur, which I thought was the worst coloring game ever made, even that had a paint bucket tool. This makes Color a Dinosaur look amazing. I've made better drawings as a kid in Microsoft Paint. Seriously, these are my actual drawings as a kid done in Microsoft Paint. Does LJN video art have any good aspects? Well, I guess you can change the color of the pen. You can change the color of the background. You can erase 1 pixel at a time. This is the worst thing ever. Etch-a-Sketch is better than this, and that doesn't even need electricity or forks to screw in your TV. You can give it the benefit of it being 1987 and one of the first of its kind. Later, there were games like Art Alive on the Sega Genesis, which was pretty cool, and Wacky Worlds Creativity Studio, which came with a mouse. But the one I have the most fond memories of is Mario Paint on Super NES. You can draw either freestyle or with a coloring book, with plenty of different pens, brushes, colors, and patterns to work with. But it wasn't just about what you can do, but more about the overall presentation of it. For example, they give you so many creative ways to erase the drawing. It's unnecessary, but it's cool. Even the save feature, which takes an insane amount of time just to save one shitty drawing, is still cool because you get that catchy beat to make the time fly by. The sound effects are so enjoyable. I mean, it's awesome just the way when you click on the different color sets, it goes higher in pitch. You can do simple animation, make music, even play a fly swatter game, and with the Super NES mouse, this was a fun experience. You can even mess around with the title screen. Looking back, it's not a very useful program. You can't do a whole lot with it compared to computer programs today, but what made it great was the presentation. It made doing the most simple tasks a lot of fun. LJN video art is not fun at all. It's a disaster. No human being should ever have the misfortune of playing this. And yes, the styrofoam was more interesting. It doesn't even qualify as a video game console, but it comes with cartridges, so I guess technically it is a video game console. Well, then it's the worst video game console of all time. LJN has really outdone themselves this time. The only thing worse would be to play it on the Rollin' Rocker. Yeah, imagine that. So, this concludes this marathon of crap. 12 shitty relics from the ass of the past. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoyed in a strange way, I guess. You know, why do we focus on the bad memories? Why are we sentimental over the crappy past? I don't know, but I do know that the things of yesterday that were worthless, you've all found some way to give them worth. You've done this, I've done this, we've all found ways to just make the best of things, I guess. Maybe you're having a good holiday season, or a bad one, or an indifferent one. Whatever the case, I just wanted to bring you some joy. Hopefully you got a laugh, or even just a chuckle, because it's that time of year where everybody make happy, be a comedian. With all sincerity, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays in general, and I'll see you in 2015. Get ready for those self-lacing shoes, hoverboards, and flying cars!
He's playing some games, the worst he recalls. He's gonna find out which one sucked the most balls. The angry video game nerd is here.